This week I've got an Epiphone Triumph on the bench. It's a 1935 maple side and back spruce top that at first glance looks pretty great. But at closer inspection, this guitar seems to be coming apart at the seams. Pretty much all of them. Let's see what we can do to get this guitar back together again. This guitar actually has quite a history. The original owner, Beverly Polson, was an actress and musician back in the 30s and 40s. She was part of a musical duo with her sister as the Zenith Sisters. They performed in theaters, different musical comedy performances mostly. That's her holding the guitar right there. But later in life, she was known as Beverly Polson and starred in a number of films in the 80s and 90s. Let's see if we can restore this beauty back to its glory. It's got this unevenness here, and I thought by putting a clamp across the back like this, I might be able to draw this in. Of course, I'm going to be super careful. Don't want to crack anything. I put a little bit of pressure and see if it evens up a little bit. It's a little better. I also need to get a clamp this way. So I'm going to try a couple of spool clamps. See if I can get any movement going here on this way. I don't want to over tighten anything. All right, let me take the clamps off and put some glue down in there. I'm going to use a suction cup to try to push the glue down into that crack. I'm also pushing it in with the bottle. Getting a fair amount of squeeze out, so I know the glue got down in there. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry. I got several other spots here to try tighten up around the binding. On this side, one more. This is pulled out here. I don't know about this because this is old binding, and when it pulls out of the waist like this, you have to heat it up in order to bend that, but you risk the chance of it breaking. It's already got a split right here in the binding. So that one's questionable. And then I got some top cracks to repair. Okay, I left this to dry overnight. Let's see if it's holding. If there's any issues with it. That looks good, other than a little bit of glue residue to clean up. Let me get on to some of the other cracks. Okay, so in this part here, there's a little bit of movement here, and there's movement here. So both these sides are coming loose. Okay, taking a look at these two, there's not really any separation from the sides. It's just this way pressure that I would have to put on. So I can probably just get away with putting spool clamps here, and this will take care of it. I'm just going to put fish glue down in there and get some spool clamps on here. Just took off the pick guard, and I noticed another crack right here. So that's got to be sealed. The binding here, it's flush on the side. I do see a little gap. I'm going to try to fill this with glue, and that should stabilize that. Notably though, this crack and this crack here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we put a little bit of pressure. This side here definitely closes up, and that tightens up as well. This one here closes up to a point where I don't even have to clamp it. This one here I may have to put a little clamp just right in this area here. And this one here I'm trying to figure out. I do have a clamp back here, and it levels it here. but I can't get a clamp here. I may have to get like a cam clamp, or I might have to go at this in sections. That's pretty good now. All right, let me get some glue down in there. Let me get a little water down in there first. I wonder if this clamp over here is making this a little bit tight. Maybe I should just release this for a couple of seconds. Put a piece of leather under there so I don't wreck that. Now we got a little more separation over here. Get this pressure back on here. So this can set up. There. 3 cracks for the price of 1. I'm going to work on getting some glue down in here. So I'm going to get some water in there and try to get that to wick down in there. Maybe I'll even use a suction cup for the water. Now I'll put some glue. Again, this is really tight. I think it closed up a little bit too. A little more humidity in the air. I think it's swelled up, closed up. Add a little bit of water. Really try to press that in there. It's pretty level, but I'm just going to put a clamp. Just one there. I think I'm going to try to get one more. If anything, put a little pressure. I'm putting a block of wood underneath it so it distributes the pressure on the outside if it can. And put a little pressure right in there because it seems to be a little high on this side. Hopefully this will draw it down a little bit. It's pretty good. Okay, I'll let that dry. This little spot here, about all I feel comfortable flexing that. So I'm going to heat this up and then put a clamp on it. Okay, let me get a little glue and a clamp on that. Okay, now I'll leave that to dry. And I think that should do it for the cracks. Wherever I can reach, I'm going to add a cleat. Cleats are good because it helps these cracks from separating again in the future. Originally, I thought there was a little chip in the nut, but it turns out that there's not. Just a little dark spot on there. But there are these 2 little fills here. I don't know what they are. There's one here, and there's another one here. Oh. Yeah, looks like they put some kind of material that didn't stick. Let's see if this one comes out just as easy. Yeah. I don't know if that's some super glue that just didn't take. Not sure. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some rosewood dust and super glue and clean that out. Make sure there's no oils or anything down in there that's going to stop it from sticking. Maybe I'll even kind of open it up a little bit. Clean it out with some naphtha. Then I'm going to take some rosewood dust. Kind of learn to do this off to the side rather than try to do it on spot. For some reason it works better for me. I'm going to make a little slurry with some super glue. See that smoke? That can only mean one thing. Yep. Look at that. It's already hardened. It hardened up. Let's try that again. Gotta go quick on this. Clean that off, start again. Trying to film this is what's messing me up. Let's do it this way. Okay, I'm gonna mix it up real quick. And get it in there. See how that works to sand it. How do you like my new sanding pad? It's got a little bling to it. Just poking around here, I noticed that this little piece of binding is loose. So I'm going to scrape the inside to get any residue or debris off the back side. I'm going to take this canopy glue. This works really well. Pretty much anything, but it's good for plastic and wood, binding them together, and it doesn't hurt finishes. So it's pretty safe to use, and it's water soluble. Just for good measure, I'm going to put a hole in a couple of clamps. These young, tender, slow-moving fingers are actually my son's. He's home today from school, and so I thought I'd put him to work, help me polish up some frets. It's going kind of slow. You gotta just pick up the speed a little bit. I don't know what it is about kids today. They don't want to work. Look at this guy, full of attitude. Did you get those 5?
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, we're just going to end the video right here.